Hello, Steve Mills here, back with another podcast. It's fantastic to be talking to you again today and sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ways in which you can grow your business. Now, I spend a lot of my time talking about how you get more leads, get leads from, your website and social media and email and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that, leads are nothing without turning them into sales. And so, getting more leads is really important, but equally important, and arguably even more so, it's turning those leads into sales. That, at the end of the day, you're spending money on marketing in order to create sales, not in order to create leads. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman that I've known for many, many years. We became very good friends years ago, and we've worked with each other over probably the last 10 to 15 years. And he's someone who's, I suppose, over that time has really developed himself and improved himself and been a real student of sales. And he's probably, well, actually not probably, absolutely one of the top salespeople and trainers that I know. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome him into the conversation. So welcome to Alex Waddell.
Hi Steve, thanks for introducing me to everyone so kindly.
That's okay, Alex. Thank you. So I know you've produced a new book. It's called The Little Book of Sales Magic. Yeah.
That's right.
So there's many sales books out there, and I've read many of them. What's different about yours? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, one, it's very little. It's a pocket book. It's the idea you take it around with you and keep feeding back to it. But the main thing is I find that a lot of salespeople either are feeding back on things they did decades ago and they feed off that experience and then write something after the event.
Sure.
Or they're just talking theoretically. And the difference is that this is experience of me over the past few years, being in sales jobs, picking up the phone and generally making sales. And I've developed some truly unique bits of magic, as I call them, that really actually work. And I'm still doing them today. I'm still on the phone. I'm director of a firm of accountants called Weaver Roots up in Grimsby. And today I've been on the phone, picking up the phone and actually making sales using these things. So there's 8 chapters, and each one has a bit of magic that it actually genuinely works for anybody.
Fantastic. Okay. So give us a couple of examples. I appreciate 8 chapters of a book. There's going to be a lot of stuff in there. But out of everything, what were the top, the listeners today, maybe 2, perhaps 3 tips that they might be able to practically use in order to help them to convert more of their leads into sales?
Well, I think probably what most people would consider the most important part of a sale is closing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, it's if you're thinking of darts, for example, there's a phrase in darts: trebles for show and doubles for dough.
Yeah,
you can get your scores down, but if you can't finish off, you're going to get nothing, right? So you and the Prudent Marketing Company, you generate a load of leads for somebody. They get loads of vanity because they've actually got lots of attention, but if you're not closing the business, so closing is very important. And there is a field of thought going around that the close happens at the start, not at the end. But interestingly, what I've developed over the last couple of years, and this has been very recent, and it's kind of transformed everything for me, is the psychological approach to what you're trying to do when you're in sales. So if I said to you, Steve, you're a hired salesperson, what is your defined job? What is the result of you doing your job well? What do you get out of the role?
It's all about creating sales. That's what I'm going to be judged on, the amount of sales that I create at the end of the day, week and month.
Now my view and what I've learned over the last couple of years is actually turning this on its head. So people think that when you're in sales, you're trying to get money out of people and get the close won.
Yeah.
But what's the opposite of close won?
Close lost.
Right. Now, if you think about all the people that you engage with over time, throughout your life, you think of how many people you speak to, what percentage of your time would you say you actually spend with people who buy from you?
Okay, so Yeah, probably about 10% of the time.
Right.
Most of the time, I'm on the phone, I'm speaking to people and meet people at seminars and so on and so forth.
They don't buy from you.
Only
right?
a small percentage buy from you.
Exactly.
And that's the same with every business, yeah?
So, if you were going to improve a statistic, would you focus on a statistic that's 90% or 10%?
I suppose it makes sense. Focus on the 90%.
Right? You can improve 90% far greater. So when I am training people and when I'm doing my own sales, I focus on the close, not the close one. And you're trying to speed that up. The faster you get through the process and get to a decision, this is a huge problem, which is a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
People very rarely reach a decision.
No.
They vanish.
Oh, yeah.
And they think they've said no later on. I
Yeah.
spoke to Steve a year ago. I didn't buy from him. Therefore, I said no. They didn't. They never got to the end of the process.
No.
Right? So closing people, won or lost, as quickly as possible is the key. So the chapter that I wanted to relate to was this one about the magic close, which is a three-pronged approach to logistically taking them to the close.
Okay.
So it's not about the questions that you ask and whether they're going to make 50 grand out of their 5 grand investment. It's just getting them to a decision where you've got something signed or you don't speak to them again.
Great.
So you can get on with your life.
Okay.
And the approach is very straightforward, but it works. So when you've had a meeting with someone, you basically need to, assuming that you're at a point ethically and hand on heart that you feel you can sell them something that they would value and buy from you, whatever the reason, is that you book a closing call. Now, I'm sure that loads of people talking to me would probably say, well, I already booked a closing call. I'll speak to you next Friday at 3, put it in the diary, they send the invitation.
I want to speak to somebody, or
exactly,
I want to think about it, or whatever, and then we have our second call. Yeah.
So the challenge is, though, what's actually happening on that call? What's the objective of it? And so you defined 3 objectives for that call that means that you're going to get a result.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is that let's say that you and I had a meeting today, and I've put together a proposal in my mind and talking through you that I say we're going to do something for you for 500 quid a month, and this is what we're going to deliver to you, and there's every reason you should go ahead with that based on what we've talked, right? So we've missed out a load of the meeting, but that's the result of it.
Okay, fantastic.
Now, what I'm going to do is in that meeting next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. I'm going to send you an email beforehand with a link to the Go Cardless payment facilities for you to pay the deposit and basically confirm you want to move ahead.
Okay.
The purpose of that meeting next Wednesday will be to kick things off.
Yeah.
Okay, so it gives you the opportunity to buy from me and actually get things rolling. Because if you're ready to go, why mess around, right?
Yeah.
It's in the diary. We'll get everything going.
Yeah.
So option 1 for that meeting is that I've sent you over the proposal. Everything's perfect. You sign. We're ready to go, and you know when you're going to start because we've got it in the diary for you.
So the number one thing that you want people to do, that you want to explain in the meeting now about the meeting next week, is that this is to make a decision to go ahead. That's what you wanted them to do.
So then what's likely is that you might get to that and you're not quite ready to go ahead yet. You've got a couple of questions you need answering. Mm-hmm. You want to see some testimonials from customers or whatever it may be. You're just not quite ready. You feel like you're nearly there, but you just need a bit of extra persuasion, whatever it may be.
Okay.
So then we'd say, right, we'll have the meeting next week, but before that, you need to send me your final questions. I'm going to send you this information, and you need to prepare me to come to that meeting to give you what you need to say yes or no.
Fantastic, yeah.
And then you know that if I answer those questions for you, or to whatever degree, there's a decision. At the end of that call, there's nothing else you need to know to make that decision. No. So it means there's a definitive final date when that's happening. So then the third thing is that for whatever reason, your circumstances change so that you no longer need what we offer. You've gone with the competition. Your existing provider has come back and said, half the fees, and the usual, they fight for you. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You cancel the meeting.
Uh-huh.
So you then let me know in advance. I free that time up. And Steve, what are you going to do with an hour next week if you're not wasting it with someone that's not going to buy from you?
Well, you can use it for loads of different things. Getting more leads.
Pick up the phone and get some more business.
Picking up the phone, yeah.
So this approach, the magic close, is about defining the close with them with 3 options. 3 is always the magic number in terms of that. Yeah. Either you agree you want to go ahead in advance, pay your deposit, and we have that meeting to kick you off. Yeah. 2, we use the meeting to answer questions that you've sent to me to get you to a close. Or 3, it doesn't happen, and I get on with my life, and I am now free from the burden of your dragging your heels, and I can go and find someone else who...
you're so spot on, Alex, and I look back over my career, which goes back 25 years, and how many times have I a very good friend of mine called Peter Thompson says, keep going till they die or buy. And whilst I'm sure he says that slightly tongue-in-cheek, I look back over the time and, you deal with so many wasters, people who are, they're saying, they're walking their, well, they're talking their talk, but they're not walking their walk. And they just, you just finish up spending hours and hours and hours dealing with people who are actually either never going to make a decision or, they're just going to, push and push. Oh, give me a call in a couple of months, that sort of thing. And so your tip really is get rid of those people through a process.
They have no legal or ethical or moral obligation to buy anything from you.
No.
They don't owe you anything.
No.
So you treat them with respect and you're polite, but you just say to them, let's just get on with life.
Yeah.
And people love it. It's all about transparency. Yeah. Steve, I believe we can help you. If I didn't, we wouldn't have this meeting.
Yeah.
I need to get you to a point where you're ready to go. And that's what we're going to do. And that's how it works. Fantastic.
Really, really good. You got one more. You got one more idea for people.
One more. What would be a good one for today? There's a magic email, but we can't discuss that today, which has 100% response rate.
Right.
Which is in a book, which is worth. It's basically for all those times, when you have a good meeting and you speak to someone and they're perfect, and then you book the call in for next Wednesday to talk to them, and then they're not there, and then their PA or their colleague says, "Oh, they'll call you later," and then you call back. Yeah. You call 4 or 5 times, then you start to feel, "Am I being desperate?" And then you email them, and you say, "Oh, John, I couldn't get you this morning," blah blah blah, and then you never hear from them again.
And then you're on 10 contacts, and you're still trying to.
And they keep appearing in your pipeline, but you never actually get anywhere.
Yeah.
There's an email that has got a 100% response rate. And let me clarify.
And that's in the book?
It's in the book. Let me clarify. It doesn't mean they go ahead 100% of the time. No. But it means that they respond to it. And you know where you are. Yeah. Sometimes they say,
so you can get rid of them.
Yes, we've gone with someone else, or whatever it is.
Moves them forward, yeah.
And it's unbelievable. I mean, I've never, there's things you don't get. There's never really any true, genuine magic. This email is incredible. So that's worth just for that.
Brilliant. I was going to say the book's got to be worth buying just to get the email.
Unreal. It's unbelievable. The amount of time that you save.
Yeah. I always think with books, you get somebody's, like lifetime work. They've spent 20 years, 30 years, 40 years learning something. They stick it in a book. And you and I can buy that for like, I don't know, £10, £15, whatever it is, £5 sometimes. And, I think because a book is priced like that, it's sometimes underrated. And one of the best things, the things I encourage people to do, is to be constantly and never-endingly learning new stuff. And books are great ways of doing that. So,
can I just add that one of the problems with that is that you've got that phrase, I call it a book whore. That just can't become addicted to learning.
I call
implementation is the better. So we talked about this before, where I'm good at all sports, so therefore I never focused on one of them.
Yeah.
And my opinion on certain things is that if you buy a book, one thing that works, do it. Try it. And the good thing with this, and I find that I've got books at home and stuff, and you read them and then they sit there forever.
Yeah. I call it shelf development instead of self-development.
Exactly. Well, there you go.
Apparently there's a statistic that says that 90% of all business books that are bought are never read.
Never read.
Just going off subject a little bit, Alex, but a friend of mine sold a load of CDs at a conference. He sold 50 sets of these CDs, and then the following day realised that there was no words on them. They'd gone to the printers, and mistakenly they'd come back without the words being added. Have a guess how many complaints he got?
No.
You got none. No complaints. How amazing is that? But anyway, if this, I've not read the book yet. You're going to get me a copy of it. I've already literally off the press. So I want to get my copy from Alex. If people listening want a copy, tell them what they need to do, Alex.
Well, there's 2 ways. If you're in touch with Steve already, then send Steve a message.
Yeah, by all means.
And he'll put you in touch. Otherwise, you can contact me directly. My email address at the accountancy practice where I'm director is alex.weddell, and I'll spell that for you. So alex.weddell, like the sea down in the Antarctic, at weaverroot.co.uk. weaverroot.co.uk, and Weaver Root is weaverroot.co.uk. So alex.weddell@weaverroot.co.uk. Alternatively, just send me a text on a mobile, which is dead easy, 07398 757 188. You send me a text, then I can give you a bell and we can arrange to be sent over. They're hot off the press. I'm going to send a load out initially, get a few reviews, and then we'll put them onto Amazon and sell them later on.
And it'll be a million seller this time next year.
So they're on sale at the moment at $8.99, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
but just for the email alone.
Best $8.99 I think anybody could spend. So thank you ever so much, Alex. Really appreciate your time here today, for sharing with people your ideas. Thank you everybody for listening. And as Alex said a few moments ago, reading a book ain't gonna do it. That ain't gonna make you get more business. What is going to is reading the book and then implementing some of the great ideas in that book. As ever, implementation is the key.
And this book is pocket size, so the idea is you take it with you anyway, so you don't need to worry
on
about
the train or whatever.
Exactly. Well, the quote on the back is, if you get stuck in a meeting, go to the loo, get the book out, have a quick recap, and then go in and close the deal.
Refresh yourself. Yeah, good stuff. Fantastic. Thanks very much, and I look forward to speaking to you again next time. Thank you.